Hello, strange little people. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but we are going to continue to talk about an album today. That album, of course, being The Velvet Underground Nico by The Velvet Underground and Nico. And today I am specifically asking the question, is this album 5 stars? Is this a 5-star masterpiece classic rock album? That is the reputation this album has as one of the greatest rock albums ever, and most people on the internet have stated that this is a perfect album, that it's one of the greatest, once again, one of the greatest rock albums of all time. Is that true? The answer, fortunately, is an absolutely massive yes. In every possible regard, the Velvet Underground Nico impresses and blows me away with every single listen. I've been listening to this album a lot, and it hasn't felt like a chore at all because I'm excited to go back through it. You never know what you're going to get from track to track. This album has the diversity of a song like Sunday Morning, which is just this beautiful, very chill opener that you could listen to on a Sunday morning. That's what it feels like. And then other beautiful songs like I'll Be Your Mirror. And then it hits you with freaking Heroin, and you're like, the song sounds like it's simulating, doing heroin. That's kind of what the vibe is. It is definitely the crown jewel in the album. It's a very dark and intense song, musically speaking, lyrically speaking, vocally. It's a great testament to how in every single aspect this is a masterful album, from the vocals to the music to the lyrics. It all comes together and works so well. Very interestingly, you are going to see the name Nico in the album title. It's the only Velvet Underground album that is with Nico, and I personally don't know anything about Nico. I don't know if anyone does. This might be the biggest thing, I'm sure it is the biggest thing that Nico has ever been a part of. She is featured on the songs Femme Fatale, All Tomorrow's Parties, and I'll Be Your Mirror. And I'll say Femme Fatale and I'll Be Your Mirror are beautiful. All Tomorrow's Parties is one of those long, abrasive songs, kind of in the same vein as Waiting for the Man, or I'm Waiting for the Man, Black Angel's Death Song, and European Sun. A mode this album will get into where it gets dark, it gets sludgy, it gets to a sound that does not sound like the 60s. It really doesn't sound like the 60s. This is really shocking, and just showing how forward-thinking this album was going into this kind of post-rock, sludgy, kind of raw, just wall of sound type of music that they were willing to get into before basically anybody else was doing it, as far as I know. And before capping this off, I did want to talk about the songs that I have not yet mentioned, because every single song on this album is definitely worth mentioning and worth talking about at length, even though I'm not exactly doing that. Venus in Furs is a trippy, really iconic song. Every time I hear this, I'm like, dang, like it just feels like the Velvet Underground. And it's a very good song that goes to some very strange places musically, and it's very kind of eerie and unsettling. Run, Run, Run is, in my opinion, the worst song on this album. It doesn't leave any positive impact. It just sounds kind of annoying. It sounds maybe a little bit more conventional in some of the other songs, but it doesn't sound as conventional as There She Goes Again, which sounds like a parody of either a Beach Boys or a Beatles song. It really does have that type of energy with the kind of the mock like group vocals, where it sounds like there's group vocals, but it's really like one other person singing. It's really cool. It's a really cool track that's very fun and just stands out on the track list, and I had to mention it. I think this album is unbelievable. I think it's so ahead of its time. Just the dark places this will go musically, lyrically. I think it's extremely well written. These songs are all stand out. I mean, lyrically speaking, or almost all of them. I think Nico's presence on the album adds a lot to it. I think those songs, Femme Fatale and I'll Be Your Mirror, are fantastic. Not as big of a fan of All Tomorrow's Parties, but it's still a good track and a good addition to the album. And I just think this is a landmark rock album from the 60s that deserves all of the praise, all of the acclaim. It's definitely 5 stars. And that's what I have for you guys today. I've been wanting to do a Velvet Underground review for a long time now. I've been really wanting to do this, and I've just not. I just, this segment I do is this or that, where I look at, is this 5 stars or not? I could have done that with literally like any Velvet Underground album. They basically, I think they all have 5 stars on AllMusic besides the really, really bad one that people try to forget even exists. But I love this band. I think they're incredible, and I love the diversity between all of their albums. Every Velvet Underground album is a completely different experience. And this feels like the most singular album in their discography, the most unique. It gives you the most differing experiences from track to track, which I think is why it's the most popular one, why it's the most beloved. You have the diversity, vocally speaking, but then you just also have the darkness, and then also a little bit more light and a little bit more fun. So it's a good album. Please listen and have a good rest of your day.